When the Cindered Shadows DLC for Fire Emblem 3 Houses was announced, I was pretty excited. 3 Houses was one of my favorite games from last year, so with the promise of a new house and 4 new characters that I was sure would be as interesting as the core group, this was the thing to push me and probably many others to pick up the expansion pass to access those things and more. 11 hours later, and after a great story with the plot twists and well-written characters that you'd expect from 3 Houses, I'm pleased to say that the story was both a nice way to return to the world with new things and to enhance a main playthrough. For all the things it adds by itself into the main world, Cindered Shadows' challenging missions and interesting new characters made me feel like it was worth the time and money for me, and is an experience I enjoyed in my time with it enough to have me wanting to go back to the main story as well. Set sometime in the early part of 3 Houses' story, the Cindered Shadows DLC begins when a mysterious individual is spotted heading through one of the many rumored passageways hidden around Garrick Mark late at night. So after some talk, Violet, the house leaders, and a few house members decide to explore this campus mystery and find themselves in the hidden area of Abyss, an area under the school where certain shady individuals live, including Yuri, Constance, Balthus, and Happy, the members of the 4th house, the Ashen Wolves. Through battles and exploration of another of Fodlan's mysteries, the DLC sees you getting to know these 4 characters and more of the history of the world, which is interesting to hear having finished the main game, but is a story that's made to stand well enough on its own too. While my favorite part of this DLC is probably the actual gameplay and challenges, getting to know the 4 unique characters of the Ashen Wolves house through the story was a lot of fun, and with a smaller group, I was able to feel like I got to know a bit about each character and their quirks that are more than enough reason to want to get to know them more. The story also flows nicely too, thanks to the characters selected to be a part of it. It's one of the rare occasions we get to see all the house leaders together peacefully, and features the same unpredictable plot twists that 3 Houses does so well that makes this self-contained story be something with the kind of impact that the main story has me expecting. So if you're looking for another house to play outside of the main one, it doesn't reach the exact height of the main story, mostly due to its shorter length, but it is a story worth witnessing if you're a fan of the way this game tells stories, and the way it added new mysteries to a world that is already full of them made discovering the secrets revealed in this story keep me wanting to see how they played out throughout the entire campaign. A great Fire Emblem story is heightened by the challenging missions you do to get through it, and Cindered Shadows missions can really test your tactical abilities in a way that I found satisfying. The side story is separate from the main one, complete with its own save slots, and therefore has a few different rules and parameters to the main game. There's a finite amount of money and equipment in the campaign that means you need to be mindful of how you're using everything, from smithing stones to battalions, and there's also a limited amount of skills and classes which are predetermined, although you do still level up at least, but there aren't any side missions within the side stories, so that means there's only a limited amount of enemies to level up with. You can still customize the gameplay by selecting difficulties, but the challenges in this one are designed to make you think of your tactics in a different way, and I liked how these elements are a good challenge for Fire Emblem players on any difficulty due to their stricter rules, and I think they'll be refreshing to those who complained that the main story was too easy. Limitations are only the beginning of the challenge of Cindered Shadows, as its missions are well designed too. Most battles had some kind of challenging point that made them much more complex than rewinding your actions with Divine Pulse. Challenges like trying to keep all the Ashen Wolves alive, limited turns to do things in, and other goals like these have the DLC given you challenge to even those like myself playing on casual mode, since they're just that little bit stricter. I actually got my first game overs in Cindered Shadows, while in the main story I got through no problem. But these game overs happened without any frustration, as the way it was challenging me and making me think of different ways to use my party was really engaging and interesting, and some of the most fun I've had with 3 Houses gameplay so far, with it having me hope that the missions in whatever next Fire Emblem game we see are more like this one, as the challenge made it more fun, so much so that I'm even considering giving Classic Mode a try, as those kind of limitations really just felt good. The 4 new classes featured in this DLC are another reason to play as well, and include new combinations of stats and abilities to be learned, such as the new magic flying class, the Dark Flyer, and the quick-moving Trickster. Since you play this DLC with the characters at around level 20, these were fun to play with as they're at the right level for you to get to know them properly, with my favorite ending up being the Trickster one thanks to the way it can switch your placement with another character that was a lifesaver many times. I'm also looking forward to trying these classes with other characters in the main game now that I've finished, so having more of these higher level classes available to choose from could definitely enrich a 3H's main playthrough since it gives you more options for teaching and upgrading your characters. The Cindered Shadows side story is probably the main draw to pick up 3H's expansion pack for most people, but since the full expansion is about $25 depending where you are, before the actual story DLC came out, with just the costumes and the quests that were available before Cindered Shadows, it was hard to really feel like I could justify the money I spent. However, once the Cindered Shadows content was in my game, I finally felt like it was worth it, thanks to the amount of content available that really does make the main game feel expanded. From Chapter 2 onwards in the main story, you can visit the DLC's area of Abyss where you can recruit the Ashen Wolves to your house, get and use renown points with one of the statues, there's a mysterious teacher that can analyze your character's growth, and another character I haven't unlocked yet that I hear can increase support ranks between characters, and so on, that could be incredibly useful if you have a lot of renown points left over from a previous playthrough and are looking to tie up loose ends. This is on top of what the Ashen Wolves bring by just being around. They have support ranks with each other and multiple other characters that I'm looking forward to seeing, and having them in battle again was really nice after enjoying playing with them in the DLC, so I have a feeling they might eventually inspire me to do another playthrough focused on trying to unlock everything they bring to the game, and for that reason I feel like the expansion pack is worth it, with all the other benefits feeling like bonuses. If it's worth it for others, I think will depend on how much you like or are interested in these characters, but since I love the campaign and was curious ever since the trailer, I think if that interests you, you'll have a good chance of enjoying it. For now, I'm enjoying little things in my playthrough, like seeing Balthus and Hilda eating together and talking about old times, or Happy and Constance eating bread together. And if there are more little things like this to find that will have the experience keep enriching the world, I'd say I'm overall happy with the experience, and I'm looking forward to whatever else it brings to my next playthrough. By adding new likable characters, a new side story, and features to enhance the main one, the Cindered Shadows DLC for Fire Emblem 3H's makes this game I had put down feel like it still has so much more to offer. The characters I met in the DLC are ones I want to keep getting to know, and their extra relationships they have with the main cast and the extra things they bring make playing through the world with all these things feel a little fresher, alongside a great new side story that made me like all 4 of these new additions. The challenges the DLC brought have also encouraged me to maybe try the harder difficulties and things in the main game like permadeath, with it being a great introduction to the more classic and stricter gameplay aspects that Fire Emblem does so well, in a way that makes the classic kind of Fire Emblem gameplay more approachable for newcomers. Whether you've finished everything and are looking for a new 3H's story, or are just starting out and want the fullest version of the world, if you're okay with the price tag, I think there's something in here for most types of Fire Emblem players, and I'm happy to say that the Cindered Shadows DLC and expansion has ignited a fair bit of my want to see all of the houses, routes, and parts of the game I haven't explored yet, as a good reminder that there's still plenty of moments to see with characters I love in this well-written, story-filled world. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below if you'll try the Cindered Shadows DLC, and if you already have, what did you think of it? You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, and until next time, thank you, bye!